A, E, A, E, F, O, C, U, and sometimes fly. Peace, family. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm here to talk to you today about the vows of entrepreneurship, the vows of success, the vows in which that I practice on the daily that's helping me to scale from where I was 5 years ago to where I'm at now and where I want to be 5 years ahead. Okay, so the vowels you have A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. Your A is going to be assurance, right? As you're in business, you have to assure your doings, right? You have to be certain that you are capable of taking on the task in which you sign up for. Everybody wants to be a boss till it's time to set their own schedule and stick to the disciplines of carrying out those given tasks, right? How many people do y'all know who have their own business but they always lacking? They not assuring themselves to be successful, right? Then you have E, right? E is going to be for endurance. You're going to have to be built to withstand pressures, right? As you climb up the mountaintop and you start to feel yourself slipping down, you got to be able to endure going up to new heights, right? Because the closer you get to the top, the harder it becomes, right? But you got to know how to endure that. You got to know how to endure your success, because as you start to have new achievements, right, and you start to have new roles within you being successful, you will have increased amount of pressure on you. You got to know how to endure that, okay? And then you have I. Your I is going to be for insurance. That is a big necessity. Check this out. I know companies that will refuse to do business with you if you do not have the right insurance set into place. It do not matter how much cash you got in the bank. It don't matter how many lines of credit you got. They want to know that you are insurable, that you are covered. I'm not just speaking of being a trucker or a transporter. I'm speaking of just being in business in general. Especially if you're a business doing business with other businesses. They want to know that you are insurable, that you are covered for a certain amount, right? Usually astronomical amounts. And that's important because as you become a commercial service provider, you got a target on your back. You have people who want what's in your pocket and want what your pockets can cover. All you got to do is look on the side of the highway signs. Every time you go down the highway up and down 95, you see signs that saying, hey, injured by a big truck, call me. That's why you're going to need insurance, family, because people is out to get what it is that you're working towards. So you have A, you have your E, you have your I. Okay, your O is going to be for observance. You want to be very observant in your field of business. You want to be observant of the people who you're dealing with. You want to be observant over the task that you're mitigating on a day-to-day basis. You want to be observant of whatever your company goals are, right? You want to be observant, right? He who is without a clue is doomed to be clueless. When it's time for questions to be answered, you have to be observant, family, okay? And then you. We're gonna subjugate you for a while, and we're just gonna say yourself. You're gonna know how to depend. You're gonna need to know how to depend on yourself at times when you may not be able to count on other people, right? It's important that you learn the roles, at least learn the basics of the roles in which you're hiring other people for, right? Like, I think one of the best ways to scale up in the business, because we're still working on this ourselves, but I think one of the best ways to scale up in business is when you actually start off doing a task, mastering that task, and then hire somebody else to do it. Why? Because let's take for instance a company who has employees, but they don't even know how to do what they're hiring employees to do. Let's say for instance the employee go on strike. Let's say for instance something tragic happened to the employee, God forbid, or the employee can't shows up to do their work. Would that stop your company from moving? Would that stop your company from servicing your clients and your customers? If so, it's important that you know how to fulfill that role, at least to the point where as though if you cannot do it to the extent that the employee was doing it, that you can readily retrain somebody else because of your knowings, right? So those are going to be your vowels. of your entrepreneurship, your vows of success. I believe this is strongly important for anyone who's transcended from a 9 to 5, and this is their first time getting out there into the field of entrepreneurship. I am not a man of perfection. I'm not even going to say that. I'm working towards perfection. I'm just working on having more earnings than errors. Let's say that. And by working on having more earnings than errors, it's important that I know the vows of success, the vows of entrepreneurship. This is not nothing that I read in a book. It's just a concept that I came up with while just thinking what ways in which I learned that I can make it easier for somebody else to learn who wish to occupy the space that I'm in. Because right now what I'm doing is learning how to occupy another level of success, right? That my wife and I are gearing to head towards. And there's some areas in which we are lacking. So what we're doing is studying other people who are already at the spaces where we're trying to get to, right? And they're teaching us different concepts to make it easier on learning for us. So I'm thinking, okay, my way of giving to people who wish to be where we are is by making these learning concepts easier and not just throwing a bunch of rhetoric or a bunch of wordplay at you, but giving you vowels that you can remember, retain, recite, and reenact. So remember those vowels, okay? A, E, I, O, U. Your A is for assurance. Your E is for endurance. Your I is for insurance. Your O is for observance. And your U and your Y is going to be for yourself. Peace.